Hello everyone. Welcome to today's lecture on segmentation, targeting, and positioning. To start, I am going to use the example of a gas station to motivate the concept of segmentation. America is built on wheels, and a gas station is something we're all familiar with. Usually, traffic congregates at road intersections. As a result, these are appealing locations to have gas stations. So let's start with a common intersection with a couple of gas stations. Here, the two gas stations are at the two corners of the intersection. Very often, when gas stations are set up like this, we'd see matching prices. That is, the two gas stations very often offer the same gas price. And let's say you are the owner of the gas station on top. And now your competitor has lowered the gas price from $1.75 to $1.74. What would you do? Think about your answer and why. If you also drop the price from $1.75 to $1.74, then both of you would be charging $1.74 instead of $1.75, and both of you are worse off. How do you compete with the other gas station then, if you don't want to drop the price? Pause the video and think about your answers. I bet you have written down to open retail shops, selling hot coffee, and offer loyalty programs. These are all good ways to compete with your competitors by enriching your service offerings. Now, my question for you is there a pricing way focused on gasoline that you can do to improve profitability when in this competitive scenario? Let me give you more information. Out of these two roads, one of them is busier. This road is the road where the community drive back and forth to work and back home. Let's say going up is to work, going down is coming home. Can you think of a way to price your gasoline in order to improve profitability if you were the gas station on top? Pause the video and think about your answers. If you have written down increasing your price, congratulations. That's $1 million idea if you were one of the major oil and gas operators. Gasoline is a tough business. It is a commodity, and the gas offered at gas stations generally do not differentiate from each other very much. So the products are pretty much uniform across different gas stations. In this case, the core concept to think about in order to charge price differently is what we call segmentation in marketing. That is, how are your customers different from each other? Segmentation can be a multi-dimensional concept. How do the drivers on this road differ from each other? One dimension you may or may not have considered is people driving this direction. The gas station on top is more convenient for them. When people driving this direction, the gas station at the bottom is more convenient for them. Although people can pull over from one side of the road to the gas station on the other side, it is an inconvenience and it increases the chance of an accident. So, if you were the driver along this road, and if this gas station is only 1 cent more expensive than the other, would you pull over? Or maybe not. So as long as there are plenty of people who are willing to take the higher price for convenience, the gas station on top is able to take advantage of this and significantly increase profitability. Because 1 cent per gallon at a gas station would increase the profitability of the gas station by hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So we can use segmentation to differentiate customers and charge different prices in this case. It helps us increase profitability. Let me change the scenario a little bit. I'll move the gas station at the bottom from one side of the road to the other side. Let's say they still have matching prices, and they are somewhat equally convenient for drivers driving in this direction. So my question for you is, let's say the gas stations are advertising their prices at the eye level. How do drivers make choices of gas stations? Versus a different scenario, when both gas stations are advertising their prices with a very high billboard. How do these two different scenarios differ in terms of competition, in terms of how customers are making choices of gas stations? Pause the video and think about your answer. Imagine yourself being a driver driving along the road. When the gas stations are advertising prices at eye level, you see only one gas price at a time. So when you see the first gas station, you have to make a decision whether to pull in and pump gas here. Or you can decide to skip this gas station and drive forward until you see the price of the second gas station. So this is what we call sequential decision making. It is actually very similar to many life decisions. For example, you are dating someone, you decide whether to marry the person. If you marry, you stop. If you don't, you're going to move forward and check out the next one. So that's sequential decision making. And the other scenario, when the gas stations are advertising their prices high, drivers would observe the prices of both gas stations at the same time, and then they would simply choose whichever gas station is cheaper. Under which scenario do you think the two gas stations are involving in more fierce competition? This is a question we will answer in a later date, when we specifically discuss the issue of competitive pricing, but keep that in mind. Still on gas station. Let's say you are taking a road trip from Oklahoma, driving all the way into Texas. When you cross the border, you may notice gasoline price changes. That's because Oklahoma has a higher tax rate on gasoline, so gas in Oklahoma are more expensive than gas in Texas. If you operate a gas station right across the border on the Texas side, what would you do? I'm sure many of you have come up with the answer. That is, you can actually charge a higher price than Texas gasoline, as long as you are lower than gasoline in Oklahoma. That is what happened to many gas stations right across the border. How are these gas stations segmenting drivers? Here, the dimension for segmentation is how full the tank is. For a driver whose tank is close to empty, the driver may not be able to afford to wait. The driver sees a lower price. The driver decides to pull in. On the other hand, for a driver whose gas tank is only half empty, the driver may decide to wait and see more gas stations before pumping gas. Here's a final example on gas stations. Let's zoom in on Google Maps. There are two gas stations in Pearland. 1, 2, along the Shadow Creek Parkway. This situation is very similar to the illustration that we had earlier, where you have Highway 288 and people driving along McCarter Road going back home in Shadow Creek Ranch. So these two gas stations are on the same side of the road. Without considering the difference between a Buc-ee's gas station and a Kroger's gas station, is there any other dimension that you can segregate the customers and pricing these two gas stations differently? Pause the video and think about your answer. An interesting perspective between these two gas stations is one of them is larger. When people are going back from work, the smaller gas station fills up very quickly. It has limited capacity of 8 pumps. And then there's Buc-ee's gas station, which is much larger. So in this case, Buc-ee's can implement a dynamic pricing to raise its prices during the rush hours, where Kroger has capacity problem to fulfill demand. A quick recap on gas stations. The first important concept that we have introduced is segmentation, segmentation, and segmentation. Segmentation itself is a multi-dimensional concept. Here, in the three examples, we have used the driving direction of drivers, how empty their tanks are, and whether they are willing to wait to pump gas as dimensions to segment them. And then we charge the segment with a higher willingness to pay at a higher price point. Next, we're going to explore one of the most fundamental concepts in marketing through the lens of one of the world's most successful brands, Nike. Today, we'll discover how Nike transformed from a small running shoe company into a global empire worth over $50 billion annually. The secret? A masterful understanding of segmentation, targeting, and positioning, what marketers call the STP strategy. By the end of this lecture, you'll understand how Nike identifies different customer groups, decides which ones to serve, and positions itself uniquely in each customer's mind. These principles will be essential whether you're marketing sneakers, software, or services in your future career. Let's start with some impressive numbers. Nike generates over $50 billion in annual revenue and operates in more than 190 countries. But here's what's remarkable. Nike started in 1964 as Blue Ribbon Sports, selling running shoes from the back of a car at track meets. How did they grow from a small startup to the world's most valuable sports brand? The answer isn't just great products or celebrity endorsements. Nike's success comes from understanding exactly who their customers are, which customers to focus on, and how to position themselves uniquely in each customer's mind. This transformation didn't happen by accident. It resulted from strategic marketing decisions that we can learn from and apply to any business. The foundation of Nike's success lies in what marketers call the STP framework. This three-step process guides how companies create value for their customers. First, you segment the total market by identifying groups of customers with similar needs or characteristics. Think of this as dividing a large, diverse crowd into smaller, more manageable groups. Next, you target specific segments by deciding which groups you want to serve. You can't be everything to everyone, so you must choose where to focus your efforts. Finally, you position your offering by creating a unique place in customers' minds. This is how you want customers to think about your brand compared to competitors. Nike excels at all three steps, which explains their remarkable success across different sports, demographics, and global markets. Market segmentation means dividing a market into smaller groups with distinct needs, characteristics, or behaviors. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful when done correctly. Back in the 1960s, Nike faced a classic marketing challenge. Athletes from different sports had vastly different needs. A basketball player needs ankle support and traction for quick direction changes. A long-distance runner needs lightweight cushioning and breathability. A tennis player needs lateral stability for side-to-side movement. The existing athletic shoe companies were using a one-size-fits-all approach, essentially treating all athletes the same. Nike recognized this was a massive opportunity. By understanding that different athletes had different needs, they could create specialized products for each group. This insight became the foundation for everything Nike does today. They don't just make shoes, they make running shoes, basketball shoes, tennis shoes, and dozens of other specialized categories. Nike's primary segmentation approach focuses on how customers actually use their products. This behavioral segmentation reveals four distinct groups. Professional athletes represent less than 1% of Nike's customers, but receive about 80% of their marketing attention. Think LeBron James, Serena Williams, and Cristiano Ronaldo. These athletes validate Nike's performance credentials. Serious recreational athletes make up about 15% of users. These are people training for marathons, playing in competitive leagues, or working out intensively several times per week. Fitness enthusiasts represent 35% of Nike's customer base. They exercise regularly, but aren't necessarily competing. They want quality athletic gear for gym workouts, yoga classes, or weekend activities. The largest segment, at 50%, consists of lifestyle and fashion consumers. These customers buy Nike products primarily for style, comfort, and the brand image, not athletic performance. Notice how Nike serves four completely different groups with different needs, motivations, and purchasing behaviors. Nike also segments by demographics, particularly age and gender. Different generations have distinct preferences and cultural connections to Nike products. Generation Z gravitates toward Nike React technology and newer Air Max designs. They discover Nike through social media and value sustainability initiatives. Millennials drive the retro Jordan market and lifestyle-focused products. They have nostalgic connections to Nike's 1990s golden era. Generation X responds to classic Air Max designs and nostalgia marketing. They remember when these products first launched and have disposable income to buy premium versions. Baby boomers prefer comfort-focused walking shoes and appreciate Nike's heritage story. Gender segmentation has been equally important. Nike Women, launched in 2001, now generates 38% of Nike's total revenue. That's over $15 billion annually. Nike recognized that women's athletic wear couldn't just be men's products made smaller and in different colors. Geographic segmentation reveals how Nike adapts to regional sports preferences and cultural differences. In North America, basketball dominates Nike's strategy. The Jordan brand alone generates $5 billion annually, primarily from American basketball culture. European markets focus heavily on soccer, or football as it's known internationally. Nike partners with major clubs like Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain and sponsors national teams including France and England. Asian markets emphasize running and lifestyle products. Nike creates localized designs that resonate with regional aesthetic preferences while maintaining global brand consistency. Globally, Nike targets premium segments in tennis and golf, sports with affluent demographics willing to pay premium prices. This geographic approach allows Nike to be simultaneously global and local, adapting their offerings while maintaining brand consistency worldwide. Nike's Air Max franchise perfectly demonstrates how multiple segmentation variables work together. Launched in 1987, Air Max has become a $2.5 billion business by appealing to multiple segments simultaneously. Demographically, Air Max appeals to customers over 30 who remember the original launches and value retro authenticity. Behaviorally, it targets lifestyle consumers rather than serious athletes. These customers buy Air Max for style, comfort, and cultural significance, not athletic performance. Geographically, Nike launches global Air Max releases while creating regional specific colorways that reflect local tastes and cultural preferences. Income-wise, Air Max commands premium pricing between $100 and $200, targeting consumers willing to pay more for brand prestige and design innovation. This multidimensional segmentation approach allows one product line to serve diverse customer groups while maintaining profitability and brand consistency. After identifying market segments, companies must decide which segments to enter and serve. This is market targeting. Nike's approach has evolved significantly over 5 decades. In the 1970s, Nike targeted only serious runners. Their early tagline, "There is no finish line," spoke exclusively to committed athletes who understood the dedication required for long-distance running. During the 1980s, Nike expanded to multiple sports, launching basketball and tennis lines while maintaining their running heritage. The 1990s brought lifestyle consumers into Nike's target market. The Just Do It campaign broadened Nike's appeal beyond serious athletes to anyone seeking motivation and empowerment. The 2000s saw Nike targeting previously underserved segments. Nike Women addressed female athletes, Nike SB entered skateboarding culture, and Nike Golf pursued the premium golf market. This targeting evolution shows how successful companies expand their addressable market while maintaining credibility with core customers. Nike employs differentiated marketing, creating distinct products and marketing approaches for different target segments. Nike Pro serves professional athletes with cutting-edge performance technology and personalized service. These customers need the absolute best gear and are willing to pay premium prices. Nike Sportswear targets lifestyle consumers with retro designs, collaborations, and fashion-forward styles. Marketing focuses on self-expression and cultural relevance rather than athletic performance. Jordan Brand operates as a separate entity targeting basketball culture and sneaker collectors. Limited releases and premium pricing create exclusivity and desirability. Nike SB built credibility within skateboarding culture by hiring respected skaters, supporting skateboarding events, and creating products specifically for skateboarding needs. Nike Golf targets affluent golfers with premium equipment and apparel, emphasizing tradition, precision, and exclusivity. Each division has distinct products, marketing messages, distribution channels, and pricing strategies tailored to their specific target segments. Nike Women exemplifies successful targeting strategy. Launched in 2001, it addressed a significant market opportunity that competitors were largely ignoring. Nike identified that women's athletic wear was predominantly shrink it and pink it, taking men's designs, making them smaller, and changing the colors to traditionally feminine options. Their target was active women who wanted athletic wear designed specifically for women's bodies, preferences, and lifestyles, not just adapted men's products. Nike's approach involved women-specific design teams, female athlete endorsers, and marketing that spoke to women's motivations for fitness and sport. The results speak for themselves. Nike Women now represents 38% of Nike's total revenue, generating over $15 billion annually. This success came from recognizing an underserved segment and creating targeted solutions. This example shows how effective targeting isn't just about choosing customers, it's about understanding their unmet needs and creating superior solutions. Targeting can be concentrated or differentiated. Nike demonstrates both targeting approaches depending on the situation. Jordan Brand uses concentrated targeting, focusing intensively on basketball enthusiasts and sneaker collectors. This single-segment approach allows Jordan to maintain premium positioning, create limited releases that drive demand, and generate $5 billion annually from one focused segment. Concentrated targeting works when a segment is large enough to sustain a business and when focused attention creates competitive advantages. Nike Sportswear uses differentiated targeting, serving various lifestyle consumer segments with different products and approaches. This broader strategy captures more market share, but it requires more complex operations and marketing. The key insight is that different parts of Nike use different targeting strategies based on market opportunities and competitive dynamics. There's no single right answer. The best approach depends on your specific situation and resources. Both strategies can be highly successful when executed properly and aligned with customer needs.
And this one is for everyone who ran the marathon yesterday. Hope you're doing okay out there.
Positioning is how customers think about your product compared to competitors. It's the mental space you occupy in customers' minds. Nike's core positioning centers on athletic inspiration and innovation for every athlete. This might sound broad, but it's anchored by Nike co-founder Bill Bowerman's philosophy. If you have a body, you are an athlete. This positioning statement is brilliant because it's both inclusive and aspirational. It welcomes everyone while maintaining athletic credibility. Whether you're a professional athlete or someone trying to get in shape, Nike positions itself as your partner in athletic achievement. This positioning differentiates Nike from competitors who focus purely on performance or purely on fashion. Nike bridges both worlds, offering products that perform well while making customers feel athletically capable and inspired. Effective positioning requires clarity, differentiation, and emotional resonance. Nike achieves all three with their athlete-focused approach. Nike's positioning has evolved while maintaining core consistency over 5 decades. The 1970s emphasized technical running performance, positioning Nike as the choice for serious athletes who demanded the best equipment. The 1980s introduced Just Do It, shifting toward motivation and empowerment culture. This broadened Nike's appeal beyond technical performance to emotional inspiration. The 1990s established global sports dominance, positioning Nike as the premier athletic brand worldwide across multiple sports and cultures. The 2000s integrated digital technology and personalization, positioning Nike as an innovative brand that adapts to changing customer needs. The 2020s emphasize social purpose and inclusivity, positioning Nike as a brand that stands for positive social change while maintaining athletic excellence. Notice how each evolution builds on previous positioning rather than abandoning it. Nike's core message of athletic empowerment remains constant while adapting to changing cultural contexts and customer expectations. Understanding competitive positioning helps clarify Nike's strategic choices. Let us examine a positioning map on 2 dimensions: innovation versus heritage, and lifestyle versus performance. These 2 dimensions split the positioning map into 4 squadrons. Nike versus Adidas reveals interesting differences. Nike emphasizes individual achievement, bold innovation, and American confidence. Think Just Do It, it's personal and empowering. Adidas focuses on team heritage, classic performance, and European sophistication. Their Impossible is Nothing and all-in campaigns emphasize collective achievement and traditional athletic values. Nike versus Under Armour shows another contrast. Nike leverages established culture and aspiration, positioning themselves as the brand that understands athletic dreams and achievements. Under Armour positions itself around pure performance and underdog mentality. Their I Will campaign emphasizes determination and working harder than competitors. These positioning differences aren't accidental. They reflect different brand strategies for different customer segments and competitive situations. Nike's positioning works because it's authentic to their history and resonates with their target customers' values and aspirations. On the right, we see the value proposition matrix defined in the textbook based on two dimensions: benefits and price. A company may provide more benefits for a higher price or less benefits for a lower price. It is not viable to charge customers a higher price for less benefits. Nike primarily employs a more for more value proposition strategy. They offer more benefits than competitors while charging higher prices, targeting customers who value both performance and status. The benefits Nike provides include advanced technology like air cushioning and fly knit construction, prestigious athlete endorsements, and cultural relevance that extends far beyond sports. Their higher pricing reflects this enhanced value. Air Jordan Retros cost approximately $30 to manufacture, but retail for $190. Customers pay this premium for technology, design, brand prestige, and cultural significance. This strategy targets consumers who view athletic wear as an investment in performance, style, and self-expression rather than just functional clothing. Nike's success with this positioning proves that customers will pay premium prices when they perceive superior value. The key is ensuring that the additional benefits justify the higher costs in customers' minds. This approach requires consistent innovation, marketing investment, and brand management to maintain premium positioning over time. Maintaining premium positioning while remaining accessible creates ongoing challenges for Nike. Limited releases help create scarcity and exclusivity. When Nike releases only limited quantities of special editions, demand exceeds supply, reinforcing premium positioning and brand desirability. Nike spends over $1 billion annually on athlete partnerships and endorsements. These relationships validate Nike's performance credentials and maintain cultural relevance across different sports and demographics. Continuous research and development investment ensures Nike stays ahead technologically. Innovation stories like air technology, fly knit construction, and sustainable materials maintain Nike's reputation for advancement. Cultural relevance extends Nike's influence beyond sports into music, fashion, and social movements. This broader cultural positioning helps Nike remain relevant as customer interests evolve. The fundamental challenge is remaining aspirational while being accessible. Nike must make customers feel that their products are within reach while maintaining the premium image that drives desire. Nike's 2020 You Can't Stop Us campaign demonstrates how segmentation, targeting, and positioning work together seamlessly. The segmentation addressed all levels of athletes during the pandemic when gyms closed and sports leagues paused. Nike recognized that everyone was struggling to maintain fitness and motivation. The targeting used a universal message that resonated across all Nike segments simultaneously. Professional athletes, fitness enthusiasts, and lifestyle consumers all faced similar challenges staying active during lockdowns. The positioning reinforced Nike's core brand message of determination and perseverance. The campaign reminded customers that Nike supports them through challenges, maintaining the brand's athletic inspiration positioning. The results were remarkable. Over 100 million views in the first month and strengthened emotional connections with customers during a crisis period. This campaign succeeded because it aligned Nike's STP strategy with a moment when all their segments shared common experiences and emotions. Let's evaluate Nike's success against the textbook requirements for effective segmentation. Measurable. Nike tracks clear revenue and profit by segment, allowing data-driven decisions about resource allocation and strategy adjustment. Accessible. Nike's global distribution network reaches customers in over 190 countries through retail stores, online platforms, and strategic partnerships. Substantial. Each major Nike segment generates over $1 billion in annual revenue, making them large enough to justify focused attention and investment. Differentiable. Nike creates distinct products, marketing approaches, and customer experiences for different segments, ensuring each group receives relevant value. Actionable. Nike develops separate marketing strategies, product development processes, and distribution approaches for each segment they serve. Meeting all these requirements explains why Nike's STP strategy generates such strong business results across diverse markets and customer groups worldwide. Nike's STP strategy offers 4 key lessons for marketers in any industry. First, effective segmentation enables focused innovation. By understanding different customer groups deeply, Nike creates products that serve specific needs rather than generic solutions. Second, targeting different segments requires different approaches. What works for professional athletes doesn't work for lifestyle consumers, and Nike adapts accordingly. Third, positioning must be authentic and consistent. Nike's athletic empowerment message has remained constant for decades while adapting to changing contexts. Fourth, integrating segmentation, targeting, and positioning creates sustainable competitive advantage. Nike's success comes from excelling at all 3 elements simultaneously. As you consider your future career or business ideas, think about how these principles might apply. Whether you're marketing technology, healthcare services, or consumer products, understanding your customers deeply, choosing your focus carefully, and positioning yourself clearly will be essential for success. The final slide shows the key concepts in Chapter 7 of the textbook, which you should read and master as part of this week's learning requirements.
Greatness, it's just something we made up. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is a gift reserved for a chosen few, for prodigies, for superstars, and the rest of us can only stand by watching. You can forget that. Greatness is not some rare DNA strand. It's not some precious thing. Greatness is no more unique to us than breathing. We're all capable of it. All of us.
Thank you for joining today's lecture on Nike's STP strategy. Keep up the good work.